My friends, have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to say something, but the words just disappeared? Maybe you were in a meeting, talking to your boss, or chatting with friends, and suddenly blank. Your mind goes empty. You try to grab the word, but it slips away like sand between your fingers. You feel nervous, embarrassed, maybe even frustrated. This happens to so many people, even native speakers of English. But if English is not your first language, it can feel even worse. You know the words, you've studied them, but when you need them the most, they vanish. Why does this happen? And more importantly, how can you stop it? Before I tell you the secrets, let me take you into a small story. Imagine this. The frozen interview John, a young man from Texas, was sitting in a job interview. He had prepared for weeks. He had practiced them in front of the mirror. But when the interviewer asked, "Tell me about a time you solved a problem at work," something terrible happened. His mind went blank. He knew the answer. He had the perfect story, but he couldn't find the words. His heart started racing. His palms got sweaty. The silence stretched longer. He could see the interviewer waiting, watching. And then John did what many people do. He panicked. He tried to force words out, but they were the wrong words. He sounded nervous, unsure, and in the end, he lost the job. That moment haunted John for weeks. Why did this happen? He spoke English well. He wasn't stupid, but his brain had betrayed him. Now, maybe you've never been in a job interview like John, but I'm sure you've had a moment where you wanted to say something, but the words just didn't come. Today, we're going to uncover the mystery behind this. Why does your brain forget words when speaking English? And how can you fix it forever? Are you ready? Let's go deep. The brain's secret system. Your brain is like a huge library. It holds millions of words. But unlike a real library, where books are placed in neat rows, your brain organizes words in a very strange way. Imagine you're looking for a book in a library, but the books are not arranged alphabetically. Instead, they are placed randomly. Some books are hidden behind others. Some books are locked in a glass case, and you need a special key to get them. This is how words exist in your brain. When you are relaxed, your brain can find words easily. But when you're nervous or under pressure, it's like the lights go out in the library, and suddenly you can't find anything. That's what happened to John in the interview. That's what happens to you when you're speaking English and a word suddenly disappears. So, how do we fix this? Step 1. Stop blaming yourself. First thing you must understand is this is normal. Even native English speakers forget words. It's not about intelligence. It's not about memory problems. It's just how the brain works. If you blame yourself or feel stupid, you make the problem worse. Negative thoughts create fear. Fear creates stress. And stress makes your brain forget even more words. So take a deep breath and say, "This happens to everyone. I am normal. I can fix this." Step 2. The bridge word trick. 1. You forget a word. Don't stop talking. The worst thing you can do is freeze. Instead, use a bridge word. What is a bridge word? It's a simple word that helps you keep talking while your brain searches for the right word. For example, let's say you forget the word restaurant. While talking, instead of stopping, you can say it's a place where you go to eat food. Or if you forget the word umbrella, you can say it's the thing you use when it rains. By doing this, you keep the conversation going, and many times your brain will suddenly remember the word. Step 3. The picture game. Your brain remembers words better when they are connected to pictures. If you only study words by reading or writing, you will forget them easily. Here's a fun trick. Take a word you often forget. For example, let's say you always forget the word curious. Now, close your eyes and imagine a cat looking inside a box, trying to see what's inside. That is a curious cat. If you do this, the next time you need to use the word curious, your brain will remember the picture of the cat and bring the word to you. Step 4. The conversation shadow. Technequia. Big reason you forget words is because you don't use them in real conversations. Your brain learns best when it hears and speaks words naturally. Here's a simple trick. Find a podcast, movie, or YouTube video where someone is speaking English naturally. Now listen to one sentence, pause, and try to repeat it exactly as they said it. This is called shadowing. You are following the way native speakers talk. It trains your brain to find words faster. Step 5. Talk to yourself. Yes, really. You may feel silly doing this, but it works. Every day, spend 5 minutes talking to yourself in English. For example, in the morning, say, "Today I will go to work. I will drink coffee. I will talk to my friend about the new project." By doing this, your brain gets used to finding words quickly. Step 6. The emotion memory hack. Your brain remembers words better when there is emotion attached to them. This is why you remember embarrassing or funny moments from years ago. So, connect words to feelings. If you forget the word excited, think of a time you were really happy. Maybe when you got a surprise gift. That emotional memory will help your brain find the word faster next time. Step 7. Slow down and breath. Sometimes you forget words because you are speaking too fast. Your brain needs time to find words. If you ever feel stuck, just take a small pause. Take a breath. Your brain will find the word. Many great speakers do this. Watch any famous speech. You will see that speakers pause between sentences. This makes them sound confident and gives their brain time to think. Final thought: forgetting words is not a problem, a sign that your brain is learning. Every time you forget a word and find a way to continue speaking, you are training your brain to get stronger. Remember John, after his failed interview, he started practicing these techniques. 6 months later, he got another interview. This time, he was ready. When they asked him a question, he used a bridge word when he forgot something. He slowed down. He took a deep breath. So can you, now, my friends. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep growing and learning together. Now, let's go even deeper. You already know why you forget words and the techniques to fix it, but there's still more to uncover. Let me tell you another story. The wedding. Toast disasteringly had always been good at English. She had been living in New York for 5 years, and she spoke fluently in everyday life. But then came the big day, her best friend's wedding. She was asked to give a toast. It was a simple speech. She had practiced it. She even wrote it down. But when she stood up, holding the microphone, looking at the crowd, her mind went blank. She forgot everything. She felt her face turn red. She looked down at her paper, but even the words on the page didn't make sense anymore. People were staring. Her hands were shaking. Finally, she managed to say something, but it wasn't what she had planned. It was awkward and short, and after she sat down, she felt terrible. Has this ever happened to you? Maybe not at a wedding, but in another situation, maybe giving a presentation, speaking in a meeting, or talking to a stranger. The problem isn't just forgetting words. The real problem is performance anxiety when your brain freezes under pressure. Why does your brain freeze under pressure? Your brain has 2 systems for thinking: fast thinking, automatic mode. This is when words come naturally, like when you talk to your best friend. Slow thinking, careful mode. This is when your brain carefully picks words, like when you're giving a speech. When you're relaxed, your brain is in automatic mode. But when you feel pressure, your brain switches to careful mode. It tries too hard to be perfect. It overthinks, and that's when words disappear. This is what happened to Emily. She wanted to speak perfectly, so her brain slowed down too much. Instead of helping her, it blocked her. So how do we stop this? Step 8. The pressure practice method. If you only practice English alone, in a safe environment, your brain never learns how to handle pressure. You need to train your brain to think under stress. Here's how. Stand in front of a mirror and talk about a topic for 1 minute without stopping. Next, record yourself on your phone. This adds a little pressure. Then practice speaking in front of a friend or family member. Finally, push yourself into real situations. Order food in English. Start conversations with strangers, or join an English-speaking club. Each time you do this, your brain gets better at handling pressure. The more you practice, the less your brain will freeze. Step 9. The confidence loop. There's a secret cycle that makes you better at speaking. Confidence leads to speaking. More leads to less. Fearless. Fear leads to better memory. Memory leads to more confidence. You avoid speaking because you are scared of forgetting words. You break this cycle. The fear grows and your brain forgets even more. But if you push yourself to speak even when you feel nervous, you build confidence. And confidence is the key to remembering words. Step 10. The small win strategy. You try to be perfect in English. You will always feel like you're failing. Instead, focus on small wins. A small win could be speaking for 30 seconds without stopping, remembering a word that you forgot last time, having a simple conversation with a stranger. Every small win tells your brain, hey, I'm improving. This keeps you motivated and reduces fear. The final story. The airport hare. Let me tell you about Alex. He was traveling to Los Angeles for the first time. He was excited, but also nervous because his English wasn't perfect. At the airport, something went wrong. His flight was delayed, and he needed to ask for help. For a moment, he panicked. He couldn't remember how to ask about the delay, but then he remembered the techniques. He took a deep breath. He used a bridge word. I need to know about my flight. He slowed down. He stayed calm. And guess what? The airport staff understood him perfectly. He got the information he needed. That small success made him feel so confident that later that day, he even started a conversation with a local at a cafe. He realized something important. English is not about being perfect. It's about being understood. And that is what I want you to remember. If you ever forget a word, if you ever freeze, just remember, keep going. Use the tricks, stay calm, and most importantly, never stop speaking. Now, my friends, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep learning together.